should we maybe do the Corsair class action lawsuit?
Yeah.
Because I am pretty peeved about this.
There's a Canadian one for bread, by the way.
Okay, but that one I'm not upset about. So, man, this is, dude, I am like, I hate this. Okay, so here. Corsair Gaming had to pay $5.5 million to settle a claim, to settle a claim of effectively false advertising on their DDR4 and DDR5 memory products. Plaintiffs, there's a bit of editorialization here, blood-sucking lawyer leeches, claimed that consumers reasonably believe that Corsair memory will run at the advertised speeds, but in reality, the memory does not and cannot run at these advertised speeds out of the box. Trying to get Corsair memory to run at the advertised speed requires altering your computer's firmware to attempt to make the memory run at higher than standard speeds. This is known as overclocking, and overclocking often does not work. There is a substantial risk that attempts to overclock will fail. All of which is technically true, but in this case, I don't actually think it's the best kind of true. Also from the complaint, plaintiff and class members were injured as a direct and proximate result of Corsair's conduct because A, they would not have purchased Corsair high-speed memory if they had known that Corsair would breach its warranty, and B, they overpaid for high-speed memory products because they are sold at a price premium due to Corsair's false warranty. And in this case, warranty doesn't mean that they fix it if it's broken. They mean they warrant that it will operate the way that it says on the box. The complaint states numerous times that consumers expect those speeds out of the box. But this appears to me, even though this is a settlement and therefore not like an established precedent, this seems to me to open up an entire can of worms and make it pretty difficult to advertise a lot of things that require some technical know-how in order to get the sort of the advertised result. Like, am I missing something here? Like, do you guys think I'm off base here? Because basically every memory manufacturer is now at risk of either not being able to advertise what the sort of the overclocked capable, because the RAM itself is capable of the speeds. That much is certain. And from my point of view, they label XMP or DOCP or Expo profiles or whatever else pretty clearly. I also think that it's really weird to go after like Corsair for this.
Very specifically when it's everybody.
If you're buying Corsair though, I would think at the very least you read an article once. I mean, maybe this is one of those things where I'm often lecturing the audience about don't assume sort of the knowledge of even people who participate in this hobby, but like, good Lord.
Avon Fox said in industrial automation, things are sold with actual and theoretical capability ratings. That's kind of neat. Or showing like a default and a potential.
Yeah, I mean,
but I kind of agree with you that I don't think this should have been targeted at Corsair specifically.
But like, okay, so if ASUS has a 165 hertz, okay, no, let's go bleeding edge. If ASUS has a 480 hertz monitor,
yeah,
how much do they have to disclaim?
That's tricky, yeah.
How much do they have to disclaim? That you're going to need a GPU and a cable that will actually be able to run it. That, like, you're putting together like a computer piecemeal.
Red Bull doesn't actually give you wings thing.
I think there's a bit of an expectation that if you are buying a constituent component of something, that you are doing so with some expectation that you will acquire the knowledge to install and operate it. I'm sorry, man. I don't like this.
At this level, with the explanation that I have heard so far, I don't like it either. I wouldn't mind if there was maybe some minor changes to packaging. Like, it's a bit of a meme, like going to your friend's house and figuring out that his monitor is still at 60 hertz is like a thing. So if there was like a little bit better explanation of this type of stuff, finding people's RAM is at default speeds is very common as well.
This is true.
Like if there was a little bit more explicit communication, that could be cool, but I don't necessarily know that it was worth this, and I don't think it makes any sense to target just Corsair.
Other manufacturers apparently do use terminology like up to describe the frequencies that their memory kits will run at. But, I mean, this seems to be... Corsair has also denied any wrongdoing here, and this seems to be yet another case where the defendant settles, knowing that the settlement will be less than the cost of litigating it or the potential negative publicity if they are found guilty. I think this is lame still. And I think that while, I mean... frankly, I don't have a ton of sympathy for publicly traded corporations that probably have plenty of money or whatever. In general, Corsair's kind of been bros. I think they've overall stood behind their products and been pretty chill. Their products can be expensive sometimes. But I don't think that Corsair has been particularly evil. So if there was someone that was going to kind of get picked on, I would much rather it be someone that's been kind of a bastard at some point or another. And I just don't think that Corsair has earned a $5.5 million hit to their pocketbook for, frankly, something that people could have looked up on Wikipedia before they went and installed a component product in something. I don't like it.